Most garden tools don't fix problems, they hide them. And most of the time, they're a waste of money. If you actually want to save money, you don't need more tools. You need just 3. Something to dig with, something to cut, something to move materials around. A bucket, basket, wheelbarrow, anything like that'll work. And that's it, just those 3. Walk into any garden center and you'll see walls and walls of tools, all kinds of fancy stuff. Different shapes, different sizes, tools for very specific jobs. But if all those tools actually worked, you wouldn't need half of them. People were growing food long before any of this existed. There weren't those racks of tools. They just had a few simple ones. Sometimes nothing more than just a stick. Now, if you want to go all prehistoric Zen, all you really need to start gardening is a stick. And they still fed households and entire villages. Most people start with tools. They think if something isn't working, there must be a better tool for it. So they buy one, then another. I fell in this trap myself. Before long, you have a whole pile of tools. And you still have those problems you started with, those tools were supposed to solve. This shovel, it digs. And if the ground's right, it's easy. If it's not, people don't generally question the ground, they question the tool. So they go out and buy a different one. But the ground didn't change. Your system didn't change. I've got another video where I go in depth into shovels and how to pick out a good one. Interested in that and what actually matters with the shovel. Same thing with cutting. This cuts, that's its job. Same with the saw. If it's struggling, people assume they need a better saw, not a better setup. I've got another video about saws too. It's power saws, and if you're ready to take that step, that might be helpful to you. Same idea, most of what people buy, they don't actually need. If you just take a step back, you don't actually need all that many tools. You need something to dig, something to cut, and something to haul materials around in, just a simple bucket. That's about it. That's all you really need. Everything else, it's just refinement. Those other things, they're not necessity. And a lot of people, they actually start with the refinement part before they actually have a built garden that works. If you're only buying a few tools, you can afford to buy a little bit better quality ones. You know, I always say, just buy the best you can afford. Don't chase those brands. Most of what you're paying for isn't performance, it's marketing. What matters is that the tool works and that you know how to use it. A tool can help, but it can't fix a broken system. If the soil isn't right, if the setup doesn't work, no tool's gonna solve that. But once the system works, the tools then, they get simpler. You use fewer tools and they work better. Some tools, they stick around just because they work and they'll raise to the surface in your usage. And it really doesn't take much to grow a substantial amount of food. People have been doing it with a lot less than we for thousands of years. And once you start paying attention to what you're actually doing, you start to see what you actually need and what your go-to tools actually are. And once you see that, you end up needing those fewer tools. And you're using the tools you have a lot better. Appreciate you watching. Check back in on me from time to time.